Hey guys, Pitmaster here. Let's talk about CrossPit and CrossFit. CrossPit with a P, CrossFit with a F. Let's see. Early 2000s, maybe 2002, 2003, maybe. I was doing hard workouts like we always do, which I've been doing since the 80s. We've always been known at the pit for super hard conditioning. It's still known for that, but it's always been known for our martial arts students doing super hard conditioning. I mean, Sports Illustrated came and did an article about how hard we trained. They put in, some of the heavy stuff we lit, like the sledgehammer, wheelbarrow, just a lot of push-ups and just body weight exercises, made up little workouts, like the wheelbarrow and blackjack, etc. So, CrossFit, I don't even know the date, but it was like I think 2002, maybe 2003. I was going back and forth with this guy, Greg Glassman, and he had a system. He was doing workouts called CrossFit. And he had heard of the pit, and he invited me up to Santa Cruz. Yeah, Santa Cruz. So he had this tiny little gym, like 500, 600 square feet tops. But he would have most of his guys training outside in the parking lot, and then some people would train inside. But he was doing crazy workouts like I was, for the most part. So I would go up there, work out with him. Then he started doing certifications because other people wanted to open gyms and they had the same kind of mentality of workouts that he had. So at that time, the pit was getting kind of big, martial arts, and I had some K1 guys and I had some UFC guys, if the UFC was around, getting big then. So I started doing his combative stuff. He asked me to do like his martial arts part because he really liked martial arts. He liked, first responders, military, etc. So I started doing his when I'd go up to his place and do like certifications. During the certification, part of their class was my combative class, and like how to hit a bag, how to fight, how to do basic stuff. So anyway, we would just always talk and I wanted to bring in CrossFit type stuff to my gym, but there's just too many things that didn't fit a martial arts workout. Like a lot of overhead barbells, even heavy stuff. Stuff that really taxed your shoulders. He would say it would add flexibility to your shoulders, but I agree if that's what all you're doing. But as a martial artist, that's not all we can do. And if, say, an average guy has an hour and a half a day to work out, and most of that's going to be their sport-specific workout, like martial arts, even my fighters or even my non-fighters, they just didn't have time to focus that much on other workouts. They didn't have time to go over lifts. They didn't have time to do like overhead squats and stuff like that. So there's certain things that just didn't fit. And like some of the longer WODs, it was just too much because my guys also had to spar, grapple, hit the bag, work on drills, etc. So it didn't give us time to do something like Murph or some of the workouts. But I loved CrossFit and I loved hanging out with them, and it was a great community. And we agreed on a lot of things. There were a couple of things we didn't agree on. So we decided that we could include this into my workouts, but we'd have to shorten it and modify it a little and make it martial arts specific. So we called it CrossPit. So, he had CrossFit going, and then I think he came up with the name CrossPit. So we would take out a lot of the overhead barbell stuff, and we don't even have, at most dojos, they don't want to have overhead stuff and a bunch of weights and rings and do muscle ups, and it just wasn't part of our workout. But we loved certain things, like Annie. We loved the double unders. We loved dumbbell work. We weren't crazy about kettlebells, but just because we were so busy doing our workouts. So we would do thrusters with dumbbells, and we modified some of the stuff. We would do snatches with dumbbells, one arm snatches. And I would do workouts like I always did, but now I added some of the CrossFit stuff, modifying the CrossFit stuff. So we called it CrossFit. And we were really close for a long time. Like, he even sent out some of his guys to do a CrossFit versus CrossFit challenge. And he challenged some of my guys. And we did the wheelbarrow workout. And some of my guys did like overhead squats. And then they sparred with some of my guys. We had some grappling and some stand-up sparring. And some of his really good guys, that you could tell that wasn't their forte. But they were in great shape. I mean, but not fighting shape. And they realized really quick when they started sucking air after 30 seconds of sparring, when they could do Murph in a record time, or they could do like Annie in 2 minutes, or Fran in what crazy times, they realized after 20 or 30 seconds of sparring with someone punching you in the face, they would be friggin' exhausted. And they realized that kind of conditioning was completely different from martial arts or fighting. So that's where we came up with the CrossFit delineation. And, CrossFit is great. It's more sports specific, more fight specific. We've added a couple WODs and a couple workouts, like 4 punches in a sprawl, or one of our old fashioned ones that's been around forever. And it's a workout, like do 100 4 punches in a sprawl would be like, I don't know, do whatever overhead squats and thrusters or something. 4 punches in a sprawl. We do bag slams. We do Glover sprawls. There's certain specific workouts that are CrossFit specific. And then some we take and we put it into our workouts. Like we do thrusters with dumbbells. We do Annie in part of our workouts. We'll add we'll add like thrusters and bag work. Like say, we'll do like 10 thrusters, 20 punches on the bag, 20 kicks on the bag, and then X amount of pull-ups. So we'll add martial arts to our either weight or body weight workouts, and that becomes a CrossFit workout of the day. We don't really call it a WOD. We just call it, that's our workout for the day. And that's what CrossFit is. So basically it's a martial arts specific way of conditioning, physical conditioning. So my fighters do CrossFit workouts. And there's nothing wrong with a CrossFit workout. Like if they have a day off and they want to do like something CrossFit, they can. But you just have to realize they spend so much time doing martial arts that doing stuff like overhead squats with any kind of weight on it, it can tweak their shoulders because they're not used to it. CrossFit guys are used to it, and they're not doing hours and hours and hours of sparring, grappling, drilling, martial arts specific stuff. So it's different. We do believe in shoulder flexibility. We do a lot of stretching and shoulder stretching, etc. But overhead barbell work is just something we don't usually like to do. We definitely don't like to do it with any kind of heavy weight or with barbells. We prefer dumbbells. So that's kind of the difference between CrossFit, and how it came about. I love CrossFit. I've done the CrossFit games a couple times. We've even made CrossFit games where people do exercises and then say grapple and then do sparring, and then they can combine those, and it's like a whole CrossFit games because we add a martial arts concept to it. All right, guys, that's the difference between CrossFit. Came up with it like a long time ago. On the CrossFit website, you'll still see us or me in a lot of their combative stuff in the old days. They still have a CrossFit message board where they talk about MMA and martial arts, etc. So we're still connected. We're not as close as we used to be. I know Greg got super busy and he took off on a different direction than I did. And but anyway, That is the difference between CrossFit and CrossPit. If you guys have any questions, if anyone's here now and they want to ask me a question online, you can ask me now. If not, I'm going to leave this up and feel free to comment on it and I'll be glad to respond. But anyway, real quick, that is CrossPit versus CrossFit. All right, guys, any questions? I'm going to give you 30 seconds and then I'm cutting off. I'm counting. I need my fingers to count, even to 30. I am not very good at math. 30. All right, guys. Thanks for coming.